Hi guys, Techmas here, your source for tech. Today I'm going to be talking about a interesting matter, and this was basically sparked up by seeing something about music on the iPad on a Locker Gnome site. Initially, when I saw this, I'm like, well, that's kind of cool, but then it got me thinking, has music been replaced by, I should say, electronics and not instruments? And that makes me think. Today we hear a lot of artists out there. We do. There's a lot of published artists. But what people don't realize, and maybe just don't notice alone, is that a lot of them are singing and they're auto-tuned. And if you don't know what auto-tune is, you can search it up on the web. However, auto-tune does pretty much make you sing in tune. So I could be talking right now, and my voice could be tuned to a certain key, like C major. And it sounds very robotic. So there's no talent really 100%. However, sometimes tech people tend to make it part of their music just to show off the auto-tune, not essentially for making you sound like you sound good. For example, I'm into a lot of other bands out there like Deadmus, definitely Daft Punk, and other things, as well as classic rock. I'm mainly into that. However, with Deadmus and Daft Punk, they use electronics to their advantage in music. And essentially, what you're going to find, I think, is that electronics are going to start replacing musical instruments and movie scores. In the future, I believe that these MIDI instruments, and that's what they're called when they're electronic instruments, you should know this, MIDI instruments, are pretty much going to be as powerful as real instruments to have that same sound. Now, there's still going to be people out there, and I myself included, because I am a sort of a musician. I've been playing guitar since I believe since I was around 11, so I'd say about 8 years. So, like I said, it's hard to do, and it's not going to match the human emotion that music has surrounded, but in the future, I do believe electronics will take over music. Now, there's another thing. People can play piano or get a MIDI keyboard, or even an iPad, for example, and essentially play their music on that keyboard. And again, it's not going to get the same exact sound, but I believe that they're going to be very close, and that's what's going to end up happening in the future. And music will eventually be taken over by electronic devices. However, I am a guitar player, like I said, and it's very hard to match the tone on a guitar as well as a violin, but a piano is getting there, and it's hurting. Believe me, I love modern day instruments too. I love tech, and I love instruments, MIDI instruments too. But as far as being a guitar player goes, that kind of goes out of line, and you don't get that same tone that you normally do get. So it will come a day when music is going to be overrun by tech. And I'm a little bit afraid of that because you lose the human emotion, but besides it. But I am excited at the same time, ironically, that tech is going to evolve and is going to be musical, not just some plain old simple tune like C, D, E, F, G. It's going to add some vibrato, it's going to add emotion to it, but it's not going to feel the same. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you believe that tech is essentially going to overrun music? And for musicians out there, I guarantee you they'll probably say no. But at the same time, if you're looking for a cheap, viable source, and even myself, in my original videos, I did not play a instrument for that intro video. In fact, I edited it in Logic. So, again, that's some thoughts to think of, guys. And like I said, I'm curious to hear your response. Put them in the comments, or definitely email me. Add me on Google+. I am also a Nomi, which is an interesting thing that basically gives you extra content in Locker Gnome. So if you're interested in that, go to gnomemeets.com. And also, definitely comment, like this video, and definitely subscribe. And I will be doing more throughout the year, and we can talk tech. And that's this essential problem. What's there left with technology? And there's plenty. So that's pretty much it, guys, for today. Thank you for watching Techmas, your source for tech.